Hello, how's it going, everybody? Happy time zone. Happy time zone. Hi. What's up? We got a Doctor Whom. We got a Stealth Mouse. We got a Randy. Alex, Scully, Sumika, with a spanner, a spammer next to your name. Mams, how you doing? Good to see you, Nyai. Little Jimmy, hello, hello. And of course, Ben Levin, hello.
Hi, hello. I am here, just like I'm supposed to be. And
You're here.
I do a good job. I do my best every time.
Hidden in the voids of the internet.
Yep. I'm
Good
hidden.
to see y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're all having a good day. Today, it's time we finally listen to your song challenge submissions. Woo! Can I have a cheer, Ben?
Woo, 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 woo.
Hey, there's the void. There's the void in the chat.
Woo, woohoo! Woo, woohoo! Woo, woohoo! Woo, woohoo!
Every month, Ben and I host a songwriting challenge, and today's finally the day. And your task is to make a song using the creative restriction of the song challenge. And if you're a musician of any skill level, you're invited to participate via our community Discord, which you can find links to like everything in the description box thingamajig. So today we're finally going to listen to all the songs based on this month's prompt, October's prompt, which was that everyone started with the same song title, namely, "You Are Now Logged In." So we have 13 songs that are titled "You Are Now Logged In." We're going to listen to all of them. We're going to talk about the songs and give you some suggestions, of course, to make some progress in your musical journey. Before we do that, I'd like to thank all of you for being here, of course. And I want to mention that if you enjoy participating in these challenges or believe in what we're doing here, we also have a great Patreon. So please go check that out. The Patreon offers a lot of extras, such as monthly creative workshops, original songs, sample packs, and many other perks. I do all of this without sponsors or any kind of, governmental support. So it's all you. Please consider supporting it so we can keep doing it, and you'll get all the cool perks in return, of course. With that out of the way, please welcome Ben for realsies. Give him some applause.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. Yes. Go, Ben.
Go, Ben.
Go, Ben. Go, Ben. Ben. Go, Ben Levin. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody. Ben Levin forever.
Forever.
Yes. Yeah, it's an exciting
Forever.
day to be me, I gotta say.
Why today?
Big win. Because I'm live on YouTube, right? 13 songs with the same name title featured Ben Levin.
Hell yeah. That's you.
That's right. That's you. I have a joke.
Please.
Now, I'm not the one who's going to make it, but it's more of a prediction joke. I predict that someone will use the lyric for "You Are Now Logged In." The theme of the show is everyone's song is called "You Are Now Logged In," right?
Right.
So I think, go Ben Levin, by the way, but I think someone's going to say, "Logged in like a beaver dam."
Logged in like a beaver dam.
As one of the lyrics, and that will be a lyric that would have been way more clever and impactful if I didn't ruin the surprise. But that's a prediction I have. I haven't heard the songs, so I'm not cheating.
Okay.
But I think someone's going to have that line. In fact,
Do you know who? Do you have a prediction who that would be?
That I don't have. That would be really amazing if I could guess that too.
Yeah.
But I predict that Mams will open with the line, "Logged in like a beaver dam," and then we'll laugh the rest of the track. It'll be all reactions.
Just be a laugh track.
Yeah, because of the joke. It's clever lyric, and people can't handle that sort of thing. It just makes them go goofy. I remember I was watching a bunch
Definitely.
of movies by
Uh-huh.
Seth Rogen, like Sausage Party and the one where
I've
in
not
high school.
seen that.
Ugh, they're all
I really
movies.
missed out, I think.
Yeah, you missed out on Sausage Party. Yeah.
I did.
And so these movies are designed to evoke laughter.
Mhm.
And that's like an interesting effect when you go to the theater and everybody's laughing at a moment. It's just a kind of a weird quirk we have collectively. We agree on something being a certain way, namely humorous, and we all start to make a sound like just like Mams makes. I'm guessing our friend Renal Mams, who's here, who inevitably participated in the challenge.
Is that where you got the line
solid
from, by the way?
participant.
Logged in like a beaver dam? Is that
From
something they say in
Mams.
Sausage Party?
No, it's just in Mams' song. It's the first line, and then the rest of the song is just laughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not sure if I'm on board.
It's a prediction.
If I believe in the prediction. I wouldn't put money on it. Let me put it that way.
What would you put on it?
A sticker.
Oh, really?
A pretty sticker, yeah.
Where did you
like
get
a
that?
good job sticker. Like from
You
school,
have that? You have that from school, or like from school? But where did you
Like from
you didn't
school.
get it? Where did you get it?
Where did I get it? The idea.
Mhm.
Or the
Where
sticker.
did you get the sticker?
I don't
You
have
have
the
it?
stickers yet. I still have to go get them, but we have time. Mam's song isn't up yet quite.
It's very long,
It's a very long song. It's a 15-minute laugh track.
which is pretty good for our self-esteem as comedians. Hugo and I
Yes.
are comedy duo now, and that's the vibe over here.
That is the vibe of today's stream. Maybe we should start off the hysterical joy with a song by Dead Emails. What do you say?
That sounds great.
It's called You Are Now Logged In. Just for the record.
Tears away slowly, like a preacher in a hallway, dressed in rags and painless away, in wonder. Neon glowing running easy, pulling under with your pained expression.
That's a cool transition.
Want to live through your
Lovely contrast between the two sections. It's really cool.
floating into soil that is burning. What is fear if it's not learning to beat the life out of pleasant strangers? Here it comes again.
Yeah. Dead emails. Very nice.
Yeah,
That's cool. What'd you think, Ben?
that's that's such a like wonderful melody, harmony,
Hmm.
tone, world combo. It's like uh sometimes when people are approaching music theory, there's this sort of question of like, but like why really do I want to learn it?
Mm.
And there's lots of ways to get to a result like the one we just heard, but one of the reasons to learn music theory is to make dope chord progressions like that.
Yeah.
I love simple, not, angular chord progressions just as much.
Mm.
Um, but there's an emotional twisting and turning and darkness there and mystery
Mm.
that
For
is
sure.
so ingrained in that harmony and the melody that went with it. And it's just kind of a nice example of when there's a beautiful balance between uh harmony that sits nicely in a key and then a couple moments that don't. There's like
Mm.
some constant structure stuff where like one shape is moving down a whole step and then moving down a whole step.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff like pulls you out of the key. And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really like think very much about harmony when I'm listening, but I know the sound of those things and they do have their own atmosphere and they were just so brilliantly used in this. And then the other aspect of it that I thought was particularly worth like verbally pointing to was the guitar tone when it broke down to that little lead melody. Uh, the space that that guitar solo took and the way the world around it changed made it feel like a character in the song
Mm.
and not the person who is dead emails uh playing a solo now, but it felt like another character, like a buzzing thing. And I just think it's really special when people do stuff that takes a lot of craft, but make it just like you're not thinking about the craft, you're just feeling the emotion.
Right. Yeah.
That was sick.
I liked it a lot, and I thought the contrasting sections were so cool also because you had that like there was that industrial vibe in the chorus that we heard. I mean, previous track Randy posted was very industrial, and it was still kind of there in that chorus. But I loved how he went for a more like crooning kind of vibe with his voice too in the verse, and just general very different instrumentation. That contrast worked very well for me.
The voice was right in your face,
That
which I
too, yeah.
loved.
I think we asked him last time, like, please
Oh, cool.
put your vocal more in the spotlight. Um,
That worked.
yeah, I think it paid off. I think it was a good decision.
Yeah. Have y'all heard Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum and the album of Natural History? Uh, there's a similar, I think, vocal to track balance and similar
Mm,
harmony. And when I say similar, I just mean they remind me of each other, which is natural. We listen to music and we are reminded of our
mm,
past and our present and think to the future. And part of that is music. And so, because I often am like, oh, I wish my brain didn't clump music into like things it sounds like that I've heard.
right.
But in this case, it
But
was
it
just
helps
like
explain
it
things too. There's like a good
totally,
side
yeah,
to it. Yeah.
exactly. If you're going to react to people's songs live, it's nice when you can point to maybe a shared frame of reference. And but yeah, the Sleepy Time, if that's not a shared frame of reference, then I do recommend people check out Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. The
That's
album
good.
is
Yeah.
called Of Natural History. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the vocal mix was really cool, and that's it.
Suggestion for dead emails. I think the transition itself, like the very start to the chorus, could hit like a little bit harder. Like maybe with just a kick or something, or some kind of more explosive sound that kind of like makes that yeah, just literal transition, punchier, like more in your face. Like boom, we're suddenly here in this darker world that you're introducing us to in the chorus. So you can look for transitional sounds, but just generally anything that's kind of like explosive, or just like a hard kick or something like that would work really well, I think, production wise.
I could see experimenting with 808s, like having a sound effect of like a crash or something, like some kind of metal industrial sound, like Hugo. I think one of those
Yeah,
suggestions there that'd be like good fit there, and then
yeah,
pairing it with an 808. That's like the thing is that the way that modern compression works, uh we're not exactly like going when you're trying to make your track feel bigger. It's not necessarily going to be louder, it's going to feel louder. And so yeah, those impacts on a new section plus like an 808, which would be probably a lower punch than the things that came before it, that would help create that feeling that Hugo's alluding to. I think that'd be
yeah,
a good way to approach it.
yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
think in general, Randy, I don't know how much you've worked with 808s, but I feel like it would be a nice part of your vocab if you haven't fucked with them
Interesting thing to explore.
for
Yeah.
bass, not for kick, for bass.
Mm.
By
Yeah.
the way,
Nice. Looking forward to hear more. That was very cool. Very cool. What do you expect out of the submissions tonight, Ben?
well, I think
Because
there's going
they
to
all
be
have the
lots
same
of
title. What are they gonna do?
yeah. That's a good point. Like we should talk about that for a sec. So yeah,
Yeah.
all of these songs have the same title, and therefore we know, um, we know like that roughly maybe people were thinking about their internet lives, or the feeling of like, when's the last time we actually logged into anything anyway, because all of our passwords are stored, and like there's this sort of
Mm.
like um mindfulness to being like, I am logged in now, that we don't have anymore. We're never
Right.
like, oh right, I'm logged in. Like you don't log
Yeah.
in, you're just in the internet all the time.
It's
So I
kind of a
think that
retro thing to be logged in.
yeah, to log, yeah. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's sort of just become an ambient reality in our lives. For a lot of us, I think that actually the meat verse is the ambient reality, and social media universe is the more like pressing, urgent, like in your face reality.
Mm.
Which I think is, just to be super cliche, I think that's not good. Um, I think that like it would be cool if it was like 40-60, because like 40% internet and 60% meat universe. Because I think like one of the things that's cool about the internet is change you can self-actualize to your moment fast online. Like you can pick your profile picture, you can curate how you come across a bit more. So
Right.
like if you feel disconnected from your past self, you can like just jump out of it into a new person
Yeah.
and be real in that way. Um and in the meat universe, people usually they like remember you a certain way, and they
Yeah.
hold you
Yeah.
to your past more.
And it's
But
more
then
difficult to change your behavior because it's so ingrained.
yeah,
Like you
exactly.
can't wait
They've
before you
known
hit
you,
enter.
right?
Right.
And people have known you, like they've known you in presence, like looking the way you look. So if you want to
Mm.
drastically change the way you look, they're like remembering how you used to look. Whereas
Right.
so I think it's super useful actually to have an aspect of yourself that exists online. But the problem is though, like the balance to that though is in the meat universe. I think you can be connected uh in a few more dimensions. Like
Mm.
I feel like it takes more work on the online to get truly deep friendships that like I know it happens, but I feel like you have to be playing games together. You have to be like opening up about your family. You have to like
Well, you
actually
similar just
talk
have to hang like a lot kind of
at
thing.
some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be hanging happening.
Yeah.
Is- So anyway, I think that's probably what I would have if I had remembered to make myself write the song in time. That's what I would have probably written about was, uh, and so therefore I expect a lot of puns about logging and being a beaver or being a lumberjack.
Right.
And I think it's going to be Sumika who's going to do a bunch of lines about a beaver dam and then have a laugh track the rest
Okay.
of the time.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair assumption about Sumika. I think that's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff we've come to expect from her, after all.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's going to be a cool joke, and I will laugh.
This is good. I'm not sure if I will, so at least, someone
You'll
will
run
be
and
laughing.
get the sticker.
I'll have time, yes.
Yeah,
While you laugh, I'll
during the
just
laughs.
pop out for a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Very good.
Yeah, John Spole was going to go for the deforestation route, he says in the chat.
And Neil and Nyai Tupi considering beaver.
I consider beaver.
I've considered it.
You've considered beaver?
Yeah.
Let's find out if Alex considered beaver.
All right. Bonus,
Um,
Alex.
His song is called You Are Now Logged In. Yeah, that's an Alex track, all right.
Well, that was sick.
Absolutely. That hit
Dang.
really hard. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that breakdown was so cool,
Mhm.
and the big screams and like the guitar duo harmony stuff was so cool.
Alex says, not found all the vocals yet. I had to do it in one session while the baby slept.
Awesome.
Oh, I think it turned
I
out pretty
wonder
good.
what. Yeah, like what would you do different? Would you add more layers or? Like I'm wondering what Alex has got left to do on that, because
Yeah,
it
it
was a
sounds
great
pretty
performance.
complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the it feels so emotional, and also is like so full of ear candy. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Like it, I've seen some things recently that are feel like a very similar like level of ear candy with, but and as a result feels less emotional. But I
Right,
think that's
because it's too
part because
produced, too full, or something. You're
yeah,
right.
it's just like, yeah, but it feels like Alex's voice is so direct with me. Like I just always
Mm.
really enjoy Alex's singing. So
I like the
um
lyrics too. I looked at them. There's like this line about I spent time living outside. On Christmas, I slept in my car in the parking lot of the grocery store where I work every day. I thought that was like,
that's
oh
epic.
fuck, man.
Yeah. And then like the living someone else's dream stuff, and
Mm.
yeah, it's like stuff that you really should scream about,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
feeling trapped.
Yep. Yeah,
But
good.
if I went to a grocery store and knew I was like uh in the company of someone so lovely, I mean that would make the grocery store better for sure. Like I I I don't want to like minimize anybody's sense of frustration working wherever they work, but I think it's like worth saying that if you're just like a dope person wherever you are, like you are adding to society and like making wherever you are better. Cause like for me, like I don't see very many people outside of the context of like grocery stores now. I'm like
Right.
pretty isolated. So like seeing people in person, it's at the grocery store. And when people at the grocery store are nice, or like or are just like, anytime they're not like, anytime it's a good vibe in there, it really actually makes a big difference. It's like that's my human interaction for the week.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can imagine. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sure.
So I'm glad that people get to run into you.
It's a good point. I thought it was interesting take on the logged on concept, to kind of almost like clocked in kind of thing.
Hmm,
I feel. Um,
that's a good point.
Suggestions.
Oh, and that's Stealth Mouse on drums.
Oh,
Very
oh,
cool.
cool. I didn't know that.
Huh.
That's really cool.
It's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Suggestions. What next time?
I saw a funny comment come and go.
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah, suggestions.
I would
Let's
like
see.
to hear that A section once more. I feel I'm not 100% sure if I recall correctly, but I feel like there's a tendency maybe for Alex to kind of like write in a very linear fashion where a section won't repeat. Maybe. Um, Either way, I would have liked to hear a section again, like kind of something to process a story through different section, and then to like go back to earlier section to kind of recontextualize it in light of the new information that you got from the next part, if that makes sense. So it's not just, you don't just repeat a section just to hear it again necessarily, but there can be a reason story wise where like, well, the next verse gave us more information, and now we understand the chorus in a bit of a different way, precisely because of what we learned in verse 2.
It's like developing a character in a hero arc.
Yep.
They're at home. Something happens, takes them away from home. There's a conflict. They get in a big epic mess. They resolve it, and then they go back home having learned. And that's the second time, is when you're home after all that. After
Yep.
all that, we're back to the
All of
beginning
that
again.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I used to like long form music. I felt like you could develop the characters really deep But now I'm just too fried mentally to even notice long form music. But
Right.
I wrote like 40-minute pieces because I wanted to develop characters over the course of a whole set, and usually our live sets were 40 minutes long. So I did
Yeah.
like three of those, and then
Yeah.
stopped. Just like life stops. People die.
Just happens.
Yeah. I say things that are surprising. I'm like, I'm edgy. I'm
It's
like, I have
definitely
this
something I
reason.
have not heard before. I will
You're
say.
gonna live.
This
and
was
you're gonna
definitely
die.
new to me.
Back when my mom was rocking me in the cradle, she said, "Try, try, try, then you'll die."
Well, damn.
Yeah.
And look where you are now.
It was sick. Oh yeah. Alex is saying, I don't repeat much. I lean towards shorter songs too, since you can play them again. It's such a sign of the times, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking
It's
that
not
too.
a bad point.
It's not a bad point at all. No.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's also like, well, I think you got to kind of think about why are you repeating a section too. I think that's important. Like, sure, it can just be because it's really fun. It sounds really good. I just want to hear it again. But if we're looking at it more from like a storytelling, songwriting kind of thing, I feel like that kind of story arc that you were mentioning is important there. Because you can recontextualize something you say in a chorus, which is generally more abstract language, through a second verse that gives it just a twist kind of thing.
Yeah.
So something to think about. Maybe cool for a piece.
Well, I probably said this on stream before, but I say it often that music's a lot about memory. It's about what parts of the song you remember after one listen, what parts you forget. And the stuff that you forget tends to move you forward towards the stuff that you remember. So like hooks are useful as a landing spot, and winding, twisting, unpredictable things are useful to like pull you. So you get the momentum of this random chaotic verse, and then with all these lyrics, and then the boom, the stable chorus. And that's just because you forget the verses, and that's when you go and listen again.
Yep. Cool. Let's listen to the next one. We have a track from Bruno. Want to guess what it's called?
Oh. Is it You Are Now Logged In?
It is You Are Now Logged In. Ear candy.
After some time, when things feel good, I'm hiding
Pinky is always out when I listen to Bruno, says John. Yes.
I'm behind because I was listening on the stream. Did you
Ah.
say something? Sorry.
I was just reading John Sibel's comment, which I thought was funny about his pinky always being
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. You gotta be careful because they're easy to break. You don't want to get like jammed on the pinky. That's why
This
the
is
other
true.
fingers are there. They're like very supportive.
You gotta
very
support
cool
it.
fingers.
Support the
Really
small
good
one.
fingers. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, you gotta have it back it up, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Same on
Yeah.
guitar. When you use your pinky, you usually have another finger behind it.
Yeah, you have a couple fingers ready to go. Well,
That was smooth, as a Bruno track tends to be.
yeah, and like really subtle and nice dynamics, like with the instrumental section that went into the big ending. Is like very I could see this being like a awesome chart to bring in and jam over, like everybody
As like
reading
a
the chords, playing over them.
yeah.
Like a real book tune.
Yeah.
What
if we had a Bruno book?
That would be cool. That would be cool.
All these Bruno
feel like
tunes with a
there's
lead
so
sheet
many
and all
cool
that.
Bruno chords. We'd learn a lot.
Yeah. Bruno knows all the chords.
Bruno made the Bruno book. I think I would pay for $10 for a PDF of Bruno book.
$10 for the Bruno book?
PDF.
PDF.
I'd pay more for
what would you pay for physical?
15.
Maybe we're giving him a business idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to sell things, but you got to do something.
Well, there's one seal right there. The
Yeah.
real Bruno.
Hmm.
The real Bruno.
Yeah, if you could do a pre-order, this is the trick they do in the band's business. You make whatever products
careful.
you think are going to be sick. You make them after the pre-order. So you just like set up a pre-order and be like, here's the new merch that's going to happen. And
Wasn't that
then
like
if-
drop shipping where you like ask people to buy it and then you know, oh, there's 20 people that want it and then you make 20 of them? Kind of thing.
Yeah. It's pretty much like that. I guess the yeah, that's just how it is. And then you can afford it if you sell enough. Yeah, it's not too crazy, but that's I guess that's how people
Drop ship
handle
the Bruno
products
book.
now.
That's
Yeah.
how it is. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah,
it
I love
happen.
how his voice had a little bit of a rasp at times in this one.
Quite
I love
fragile. I feel more
Yeah.
fragile than usual.
The movement from between ranges in his voice was so pretty and so
Yeah.
nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Lovely ear candy in between too. Which I feel Bruno's getting better and better at that. Just like these tiny little things that I'll first listen. Often I don't even really pick up on them, but if I re-listen, I start noticing like the little tidbits here and there that like sparkle in the mix. That's really cool. Yeah.
It's been cool seeing Bruno go for different like levels of minimalism, maximalism, and just sort of like jumping around in experimenting with how few parts there can be and really nailing each instrument or layer that enters does a lot of work in the tune.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of like bells and whistles as much as just like it sounds like a band.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah. Next time, Bruno. Well, I also want you to try other genres because I feel like you're almost too comfortable in this. It's good stuff and like it's your vibe. But I just wonder what there is to gain if you tried something like drastically different. Which doesn't mean that you'd have to pursue it for a longer time, but like surely there's like little tidbits that you can then kind of pull from that and mix in with what you're already doing. Just to kind of like break the mold a little bit and kind of figure out where this can grow. This vibe that you've already like very well established.
I wonder if a good first step for that would be just to like record something that's really fast, like make a really fast tune,
Like a punk track or
like
nightcore, Bruno. Yeah.
even the same, even the same stuff that was used in this track at a like a painful speed, painfully fast, would
Mm,
would like call for so many different production choices. You could have
right.
the exact same, everything could be the same in terms of harmony and melody, but like the way that everything else works would have to change.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that could be a
That's a good
good
point.
like little change of direction would be like messing with other tempos. But I think that Bruno would be really sick at like like Flying Lotus kind of stuff, where it's like you
Mm.
take that jazziness into
Yeah. That's a good point,
some
actually. That would
sound
be cool.
design EDM vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. What if you did that? Bruno, you need to maybe you already know Flying Lotus, but you need to check that stuff out. Uh,
Become Flying Lotus for next time, or else
just that.
I
Yep.
will fart on stream. Gross.
On your own stream, right?
Yeah, I'll fart on my stream to be
Okay.
polite and respectful. Yeah. I will not fart on anyone else's
And we'll
stream.
make
I'm
Bruno
a
watch it.
professional. I'm a professional streamer.
Of course, aren't we all? I haven't streamed in 2 weeks. This is weird. It's weird to be live again. I used to do this.
What did you do for the 2 weeks?
Mostly cry,
That's tough.
as you do.
Yeah.
Um,
And then how did you know you were done crying?
it just stopped.
And then what did you say or think or feel?
I don't know, Ben. I didn't really cry. I felt like crying though, but I
That
felt
can be even harder
that is true sometimes. Yeah,
when you can't cry. And
but
you know you should.
you know, when it's over, you're like, you can carefully fill yourself again with good things. You can
Your soul grew
listen
back.
to some music and be like, this is kind of good. Maybe it's not so bad after all. And then
What's some music that has been filling your soul lately?
I've been listening to a lot of John Zorn live performances. That has been pretty inspiring.
Wow.
Listening to more from Mark Ribot, who's a guitar player he plays with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know. And I revisited some Mr. Bungle because I figured out that John Zorn produced their first record. So that's been interesting as well.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a
You-
really cool record.
Do you know the band Gorilla Toss?
No.
Okay. Well, if anyone does, John Zorn also worked with them early on. So similar to Mr. Bungle in their chaotic disregard for norms.
Mm-hmm. Gorilla
Um,
Toss?
Yep. Guerrilla Toss.
I thought like the monkey
TOSS.
Gorilla Toss.
That'd be cool too. I think it's the other one. I think it's Gorilla. Guerilla.
Yeah.
Not Gorilla. Like Gorilla, not Gorilla.
Got it.
Gorilla.
Got
That's
it.
actually, there is a difference. Gorilla. Gorillas. No one said, I don't think people say that though.
I would say Guerrilla, but you're probably right.
So you turn on that music, you start, you say Gorilla?
Guerrilla.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
everyone talks.
Is it the
and,
first record or which one is it?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. It was on Sadiq's label, which is Zorn's label, Sadiq Records. Gorilla Toss. I mean, they're a big band, so I'm sure, like, yeah.
They've been
let's
around, yeah.
see. It's their self-titled album from 2013, which is crazy.
That one's not on Spotify.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably only available on Sadiq Records. Probably, I don't know. There are a bunch of like labels that never made the switch to streaming.
Probably Probably for the better, honestly. Although it's
Nah.
also like,
Not really.
yeah, it's so double because at the same time, like the music kind of just ends up getting lost if it's not accessible to people.
Yeah, and then like the artists suffer the most. If you're signed to a label and you can't have your music on streaming because the label won't let you, that sucks.
Mm.
That sucks because you have it in writing, it's a contract, and it's usually like a martyr thing. It's like we're going to be martyrs for this cause. So no matter what technological or social innovations happen in the streaming space, no matter what happens, they have that over you. And what happened to us is in 2015, we made our second big album. It was so good,
Mm.
and we put it out on a label for the first time, and they wouldn't let us put it on Spotify. And at the time, it was right before everybody was streaming everything. It was right before that. So we're like, you know what? It's a short contract. How bad could this be? Nobody knows that album exists. And we finally got back the rights and we put it on Spotify, and people are like, wait, what the hell is this? And
Right.
our band needed
shit.
people to know.
Right. Yeah.
Because the reality is we were out on the road, and the way that we could continue was by people being there. And there's no way to get people to be there if they don't hear your music. And we were there literally living our life and like grinding for a decade. And a huge part of that was the album cycle for that album.
Mm.
And it was such a shot in the foot because the previous album was so many people's like favorite album ever, and they didn't even know about the next one. So
Yeah, that's really
like,
rough.
it just sucked.
Yeah.
I feel like if bands want to do that, God bless. If labels want to do that,
Yeah.
no. You do
Torturing
not
your band.
impose
Yeah.
those kinds of things on your artists if you care about your artists. I'm resentful.
Very understandably.
But we signed the contract, but we, like,
Right.
it's like right now, like,
I assume
yes,
you didn't expect that either. Like,
no, we didn't
kind
think
of signed
that it
that
would be
stuff without thinking about it.
Well, we thought about it, but like, I mean, it's our bad for ultimately for signing, but you know how it is when you're in a band and you don't know what to do, and a good label, because they were like the artists on the label were badass. It was like a good label, and their press was good. They were like good at everything, except they wouldn't have us on streaming. And so at the time, it's like, you know what? We don't know what to do anymore. We've been independent for like 6 years. Let's try it. Let's just do it. Let's try it. That's how we were.
Yeah.
But we didn't know how like technology and the financial stuff with the music industry was going to change.
Right.
We didn't know that booking would be completely dependent on your Spotify plays. Did you know that booking is almost completely dependent on Spotify plays?
Not until recently. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not even, yeah. So like now it's probably different because I don't know what it is. It probably still is.
I think I heard Adam talk about it once, which is weird because like obviously he has a very big YouTube following, but then that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it didn't. Right, exactly. Like we had booking agents. I mean, Bentley still exists. They exist without me. So when I say past tense stuff, it's like the time where I was with them. But don't forget, they're out there. They're gonna have another sick album next year, and I hope they blow up. I hope it all like works out because they want to make a living doing it. So I really hope it happens. But in the time I was in there, my clarification kind of threw me off track. What did you just say before I started ranting?
The thing about Adam?
Oh yeah, exactly. Thank you. We had booking agents, we had press, we had all these like people who did not know I had a YouTube channel. Who didn't care that I had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Who had no in their mind use for my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
now it's probably different because of people like Adam and Mary
Right.
Spender, and there's a bunch of people who are successful YouTube people who tour now
Well, yeah, I mean,
because of their YouTube.
exactly. I mean, that's what Rick Beato is doing now. Even like he's doing shows
Yeah.
because he has a YouTube channel.
I wish that they had cared. we shared a booking agent with Polyphia,
Okay.
and I asked, like, I wanted to do a video including them, and yeah, like I couldn't like even get my foot in the door for that conversation because nobody gave a shit that I have a YouTube channel.
Right.
Like Polyphia never even was asked. It's not like they
Yeah.
like were like no. It's just like like if you share a booking agent with a band, you're supposed to be able to ask them that because that's sort of booking.
Right.
Like I would have paid them.
Right.
Like that's like I would.
I mean,
to book
it's a
them.
reasonable middleman. Like you both
Yeah.
are working with that person, so
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Bentley still has a very, very good booking agent. That I'll
Okay.
say. That
Yeah.
person, I don't want to throw any shade towards that person.
Sure.
Uh,
I mean, also they may have been blocked by like layers within that company or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
However
It's
that
not-
works. Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
nobody cared about YouTube.
Yeah.
Now they probably do. But anyway, I'm glad your soul grew back.
Yeah. I think it is growing back.
It's growing back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like it's just like going around like a
kind of how
like
it
a
goes. and
disease.
It like falls apart and then kind of grows back together. Kind of glue it back together, and then another sledgehammer comes along, and then you pick it all back up. That's life.
Unfortunately, I agree. Yeah,
That's life.
I think it is. It's like, yeah, like we always want to use words to pin down this moment and be like, this is how it is. But it's never how it is. It's just how it is for now. But
Yeah.
everything changes
Constantly.
so much.
Yeah.
Constantly. Oy vey.
That's the game.
Which is why it's extra crazy that people have been on YouTube the whole time and are still there. 'Cause
Yeah.
so many other things come and go.
Yeah. It's admirable keeping it up like that.
Yep.
Res Band? I say we listen
Nice.
to the Res Band.
All right, some live improv maybe.
Hell yeah. They have a track called Heard It All Before. You are now logged in.
You are now.
You are now logged in.
May I now present the music of the day. Whatever tune you're playing, think my ears. Heard it all before, my friend, banging on a trash can. Heard it all before, my friend. Hanging on the floor. I heard it all before. No matter how you wanna play it, no matter what you wanna say, no matter how you wanna say it, no matter which way you're. I heard it all before. 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 Heard it all before. Heard it all before. Cut the engine switches on and you can hear it roar, roar, roar. I heard it all before, my friend. way to me. I look you in the eyes and I can see on my TV screen that there's local venue playing the piano there, getting so moody, 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 so very, very somber, so very, very down in order. I didn't order this.
Yeah.
Yay.
Always so fun. It just sounds like such a
yeah.
fun band.
Super fun. I love how the guitars were such a integral part of the percussion. It sounded so cool, like all the tickas on the sides went
Yep.
so great with the drums.
I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, for
Really
sure.
nice beat, and then a great commitment to the beat.
Mm-hmm. Really grooved. Yeah. Yeah.
That's something I think is like, you could say that song is the opposite of Alex Artificial's song.
Well, it sounds
in
way more
terms of-
optimistic.
Well, that's true. That's another way they're very different, but also just like the form. Like, I feel like that both songs work really well, and that's why I'm pointing it out, is that Alex Artificial is like the form is a straight line that doesn't necessarily have a lot of loops, but then uses all these other aspects of the story and of the personality of the voice and of the instruments and stuff to create like nice unity, nice flow along that straight line. Whereas this song is almost like a figure eight. You've got the do that and then something changes a little, and then we're back and
kind of like that idea of having a refrain that you keep coming back to. I guess that's also kind of the case lyrically here with the I've heard it all before kind of section.
Yeah, it's a good folk tool is the refrain.
Yeah.
The times they are a channel change away. The answer, my friend, is the wind. And only the good are done or died. Only the good died young.
Exactly like that. Yeah. I find it difficult to give a suggestion to the Res Band because I like the Res Band very much, and I would like them to just do more of it and show us videos of it because I feel like it's like, well, it is like a live band, like it, and I feel like the seeing of such a performance is almost as important as the hearing. Sometimes
I just thought of a good song challenge. That would be a lot of work for Tila Head. But it's the live band does like some improvs, Res Band, and then people have to be guests, do a guest feature on the improvs. So like you can pick which one, and then you take the track, and then you throw yourself into it, and
Mhm.
you're like, and then it becomes like a res band featuring Mams, res band featuring the I2P, like
Right.
uh
Yeah.
it'd be like a residency for res band.
Yeah. That would be
It's too much
interesting.
to ask.
Oh, you never know.
There could be
Always
like
try.
20 improvs. Yeah. That was just two of them. So was it the guitarist and you singing Tila Head in that one? I'm guessing the drums were a loop or programmed, I think, right?
I think so. There was something drum computerish at the start, I think.
Yeah.
I also wonder, what if the res band covered a more difficult topic? Because I feel like it's generally kind of like lighthearted fun. But also that's probably also the nature of the res band. But what if you covered a darker topic or something that's like you can't really be lighthearted about? Like a serious topic. What would that do to the band? What would that lead to? Just be curious.
Yeah.
About that.
And you could, for your topic, you could think of something that's really down to earth and small. I feel like that would help, right? Like if you went political, or if you went like talking about war, or like these huge things, it would be, I think, a tough fit for like your vibe. But if you did one about like just being lonely, or not knowing what to do, it's feeling like you lack guidance, or a big one is feeling incredibly vulnerable. That's something I've been feeling lately, is it's like super easy to harm someone, and people don't really harm each other because they don't want to. Like that's really why. That's why we stop at red lights. Like we just don't want to like
Right.
go through the experience. Like no one wants to hurt people or get hurt. Like,
Yeah.
but then that basic feeling, what if that changed? Like it changes towards specific, marginalized people. Like it happens, like where,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it happens. And so, yeah, I've been feeling a little bit like, definitely the only Jews on the block, and
Right.
maybe the
Yeah.
only like left-leaning person, and like,
In the area, yeah.
and like almost all my neighbors seem like great, wonderful, sweet people. What if there was just one who
That's
didn't
kind
really
of
want
off.
us here, and
Yeah.
I think about that stuff. And anyway, you could write a song about anything, personal feelings
Yeah.
that are negative, or like not negative, but towards, I don't want to
They're
say
just
it's,
hard.
yeah, hard feelings.
Yeah.
I think when you call them negative, it's so weird because they're supposed to be there. You're supposed to have those feelings.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just that offer like just hard. Like they are in the way of just living kind of thing.
They're in the way. And then when you manage your way past them, then you appreciate all the space you have with them gone, or with them out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. Music can help. So cathartic. We have our friend Dr. Whom, which is called You Are Now Logged In. Enjoy. The triumph at the end. So good. Dang, I felt like I went through a flashback journey through 80s and 90s video games or something.
Yeah, it sounded to me like the computer was trying to be in the challenge. It's like,
Yeah, maybe.
it's like this is my idea of the computer's voice. I want to make song to you. I'm a computer. Because of the guy on G.I. Joe who goes, I'm a computer. And that's always how computers sound to me. But yeah, computer trying to make music is the character. That's the story
That's the vibe.
in my head when I hear that.
That's
Yeah.
the story now.
Yeah. I love the sparseness. The fact that you have entire sections where there's just like one instrument,
Yeah.
acapella,
Like a
you
just
know,
a punch sound.
Yeah, it's cool. And the clicking. I feel like Dr. Hume is building this vocabulary, just gradually over all these
Yeah.
months. That is like exactly like new classical music, like vibes
Right. Yeah.
coming from such a different angle.
Mhm. Well, I thought it was interesting that it was all very retro sounds, and I wonder in part if it's because I think a couple other tracks in the that were submitted do the same. I wonder in part if it's because of the prompt, like you are now logged in, like we said, feels like a very retro thing,
Mhm.
as opposed to people using like more modern internet sounds, like I don't know, iPhone notification sounds, or other applications that like a Discord beep or something notification sound. Um, it's just an observation. I thought it was interesting that everyone went for a more retro vibe of the internet as opposed to the current day sounds of the internet, because they're very
I
different.
think yeah, and that's an interesting point, that there's sounds of the internet, and at first they were the machinery itself, the
Yeah.
login sound, the you've got mail. Like there aren't universal sounds like that on the internet anymore. Google Docs doesn't make a sound.
I mean, you have the sounds of notifications on many apps, I guess, or a
That's
message on
true,
Skype.
phones. True, and I
Oh.
never actually have those on, so
Mm.
I'm actually not highly sensitized to them. If you change the title to "You Are Still Logged In," I think we'd get more modern approach. But yeah, the experience of logging in is almost like when you use your password to get into something now, it's usually the barrier is forgetting your password.
Mhm.
It's never like the speed of the modem or something. And a lot of the time, I think we all just go through our Google accounts or whatever, like to log into things.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's just like, or you have saved passwords on
Automatic
your browser or
saved
whatever.
password systems, yeah.
It's interesting how like you're still like logging in. Like I'm logged in to Instagram or whatever, but like that's just old.
It's not part of your consciousness anymore. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
going...
it's signing in. It's signing in anyway. It's signing in.
Right.
Right? No one even calls it logging in.
Yeah. I guess so.
This is a sham. What a sham.
Wasn't it sign up and log in? If you don't have an account yet, you sign up.
And then you...
What does it say on Facebook? Now I want to know.
Oh, I haven't been to Fascist Book.
Log in. It says log in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Log in or create new account. So it's not even sign up.
Wow.
Times
This is
sure have
wild.
changed on the internet.
Jeez, just looking at Facebook is like, why is it still around? Why? People literally lose their family on Facebook.
Well, they're making the
the-
meat verse now. Didn't you just
They're
come up
making
with
the
that?
meat verse. That's funny. Yeah, it just seems to me like like people who are on Facebook are almost entirely there to be corrupted by algorithms. Like there's no other
Mm.
thing. Like that's almost entirely how it is with like I guess TikTok and Instagram. Or I don't feel that way about YouTube. I don't think YouTube really is corrupting us nearly as much.
Yeah,
as
for
the
some
other
reason, I also feel
platforms.
better about Google's algorithms. I know they're still fucked, but like relatively, I'm not as suspicious somehow.
Yeah, and I feel like they don't like TikTok is like ultra efficient.
Mm,
So like you'll watch 2 videos and then they've got you.
right.
It feels like YouTube like gets it wrong a lot. I'll go to my homepage and I won't be convinced. And
Sure.
I feel like a little safer. But like TikTok, it's
So you
like,
feel
bam,
better
bam,
because it
bam.
isn't good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to log into
That
Facebook
tends
to
to
look
be
at
pretty
it.
good for me. I mean, right now on my homepage, it says we wrote 13 songs with the same title featuring Ben Levin live
Oh,
right now.
damn.
That's a pretty good recommendation, I would say.
I'm watching that right now. I'm open to that.
Wow.
I'm open to that in general.
That's really good.
Jeez Louise. I'm on Facebook. I'm just looking at it.
No,
And
you
I'm
should
like-
you should get off of that.
I'm just like, who
Don't
the
do
hell are these people? I don't know any of these people. Okay, I know that person. It's just been so
Share
long
your
since I've
browser
been-
and leak your Facebook.
Do not remember. They see, this is an algorithm that sucks. It sucks poop.
Well, Instagram has also gotten really weird. I used to kind of sort of get it at some point 3 years ago, but I'm just lost now. I don't get it anymore.
Jesus Christ. I've got to get off now. Oh my God.
Your best decision
was
you're going to make all day.
Nasty. No, but for real, like, yeah, I mean that is the most cluttered. Like, the ads are so big and there's so much shit. And
Yep.
like the people
I
who are
believe it.
posting, I don't even remember. I don't know who like their algorithm is nothing on me right now. They don't know me at all over there.
Right. Maybe it's still a
Dang.
version of you from the past. Like they still have that logged.
Yeah, I guess. Just that person.
You just
doesn't
got
know those
confronted
people.
with a previous version of your algorithm.
Jeez Louise. Yeah.
Shocking.
Wow. Well, it's gone now.
This is good. This is very good.
I am no longer logged in.
But you're going to log in again because we have a song from Nyai2P that is called
Oh yeah?
You Are Now Logged In, featuring Alto Rosa's debut, who's playing some brass on the track.
Nice.
It's very cool.
Entrance in the rush to the outer expectation. I whisper through the light I knew as living grows around like a skin. You are now logged in, you are now logged in. The room is now waiting for your acting. Shall you pass the point you never saw, and everything is being logged? You are now logged in, you are now logged in. You now have to finish what you arrived here for. There is no time to wonder why I just narrowly missed the next big line. Logged in, you are now logged in. You seem to see those files that were left behind the last time you went offline. They will be there when it restarts. You are now logged in, you are now. Disappearing in the space that has no matter in the previous spaces. Movement between here and here, and the cloud hands wake up in the dream. There are so many spots of light and sound that act as if the place was there.
You are now logged in. You are now logged in. See those files that were left behind the last time you went offline. They will be there when it restarts. You are now logged in. You are now logged in. Disappearing in the space that has no matter in the previous spaces. Movement between here and here, and the cloud hands wake up in the dream. There are so many spots of light and sound that act as if the place was there.
Cool. That's really interesting. Now I way more like on a grid, I feel, than usual. I think last time he already did that more than we've heard in the past, but I like this vibe. I think it's really interesting for Nyai. Really
Yeah.
like cool direction to explore for you. I feel like there's a lot coming out that we haven't heard you do before that is very valuable.
It fits your voice amazingly.
Yeah.
Like, it really feels like you're being like poetic with the music. Like, it's in like somehow the music feels yeah, poetic's just the word I have for it. The way that the lyrics are very poetic,
hmm
whatever that means. That's the word. They're colored so interestingly by like all the little changes and the textures that come in and out, and
Yeah.
the like the way the vocals contrast between all the different voices we're hearing, and the mood. It's all just like such a it has nice weather to it. That I guess that's a good way to describe it. Like the weather of the atmosphere is so good
hmm
and uh so helpful to the voice. Like they're all in like service of each other really nicely in this.
Yeah.
The way that you sing and the way that you painted the sound are like really solid fit. Beautiful.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen if you combine it with a freer bridge or something. Just to kind of pay homage to the previous things we've heard, and combine those words where you do a more free form vibe. Or just keep
I have an
exploring this
idea.
because I really like this, honestly. I really like this stuff. Yeah.
I would like to hear or just suggest trying um a uh just vocals and piano song.
Mm.
Maybe a similar vocal approach, maybe a similar harmony approach, similar, but it's
But
just
very different
one
instrumentation. Yeah.
piano. I just think your voice is like the more closely we hear it, the more detail we get, and there's a lot of detail in your voice. And I think like someone who has a really detailed voice that comes to mind is Nick Cave,
Mm.
and some of the best Nick Cave moments are just so sparse,
Yeah.
where you just
That's
dig
true.
into that vocal. So it
Good
might be
good
cool.
suggestion. Yeah.
Solo
I like that.
piano and voice.
I have a track from Dante called You Are Now Logged In. You guessed it.
Whoa.
Nice. Get something very movie like. Very detective. Detective Dante.
Super committed to that too.
Yeah.
I like how the bassline groove kind of spiced it up though, because I feel like that was a much funkier, heavier groove than you would normally get with that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's
Pretty
cool.
dirty bass. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta get Alex Artificial to scream over a track like that. What do you think of that idea?
That would be interesting.
That'd be cool.
Scream about grocery stores on a
Yeah.
detective vibe.
Or being lost in the magazine aisle.
Mm.
I don't know which one to get.
I don't
It's a
know
lot of
which way is out.
spam today.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Fascinating, really.
So
I like that though
there's-
in light of the prompts, because like of course the internet, there's also like the entire side of anonymity and people spying on each other and snooping around and like, ooh, I wonder what that person is all about, and
the mystery.
creepier questions.
Well, that's an interesting thing with like social media, just like who's a bot and who's not. Because like in comment sections, the way that like the behavior pattern of comment sections is it's so easy to make bots that pass as people,
Yeah.
as not bots. Like it's so easy, incredibly easy, because regular people write really like dumb, clunky things. So
Yeah.
like seeing a bot do something dumb and clunky, it does not read as a bot. So it's just the
Yep.
mystery of the internet is how many people are you actually
I heard
facing
there's a
versus
lot
bots?
on Twitter that's actually bot tweets, which is
Yeah.
very strange to think about.
I think
There's a
that's
lot of
where
people having conversations with bots.
yeah. I think when people talk about like the radical like left on Twitter, like the like super cancely culture war left thing,
Mm.
I think that mostly, and it might be true the other way too, although right now it doesn't look like it, but it seems like it's mostly a behavior pattern that emerges in the comments.
Mm.
Like the stuff that people complain about, like the like petty canceling or whatever, like whatever, I don't know how they to say it
Yeah.
exactly, but it's more a behavior pattern that shows up in comments. And like the most divisive like way of saying, like, you can have a perfectly good point, like someone might say something that is like maybe like kind of fucked up, and but like maybe they didn't know, and you want to like point out, maybe like some Twitter person wants to like point out that was kind of fucked up, but here's why. But like
Yeah.
the behavior pattern of Twitter comments is extremely like gotcha and divisive. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's propagated by bots because it's so to the advantage of the people who plant the bots for
Mm.
us to fight. It's incredibly valuable to them for us to generally like be in a state of chaotic,
Right.
echo chamber fighting, interfighting. And
Mm.
so I just, yeah, I think that it's like a more, and it might be true about like, it might be true that these behavior patterns emerge from bots and then we like pick them up and they become like real.
Uh-huh.
Because like I wonder like how anti-vax in the last, like, it was, I remember when it was like such a tiny population that believed that kind of stuff, the anti-vax stuff.
Right. How
And
much
now
it's
it's emerged.
exaggerated just from because bots helped spread the message too, and then
Yeah.
more people latched onto it as a result.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to, because I'm more in tune and understanding of the like left discourse than I am of the right discourse. Like
Right.
I am more, I know like communists with guns who live on farms who've like gone so far left that they're like living on farms with guns because they're so far left. Like I like I'm a bit more like surrounded by that, so I'm able to identify like, oh, no one really talks like that. Like you can see like people in the chat will be like so like fuck you standoffish, but no one is really like that in normal world.
Yeah.
And I'm very suspicious it's just a behavior pattern. It's not like any individual. It's like it's a process that's been like created.
I mean, a lot of the opinions people have also just comes from their surroundings, right? Like they have it because other people have it, or people in their
So
environment.
it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's also how like a lot of the fake news like got spread because it was propagated through bots and all that, and then because people saw it more, they were like, "Oh, maybe there's something to it if so many people are saying this."
Right. And that's how it feels. Like so many people are saying it. Yeah, it feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sometimes I do, like, I hear people defend Twitter being like, it gives
There's no defense for Twitter.
Well, I've heard it gives the voiceless a voice because like, like there are times where the discourse has been useful, like
Sure.
for, in the Me Too movement, like like a lot of what was happening was good.
Yeah.
And those are people who normally wouldn't have had a chance to, like, there was never a time where it felt comfortable to speak
Mm.
on things, like on being, a survivor and all that.
Yeah.
And that's like held on to, I think, is like the reason why Twitter is important. It gives this like power. But
That's
I
definitely
think
true.
it
Yeah.
probably does way more harm than good, though. Like it just seems to do so much more harm. Like that is true that that's there and that's good, but
Yeah, but
like
the
it
opposite also
feels like,
happens.
oh, the opposite happens, I think, so much more,
Yeah.
where like giant people have a giant voice, and
Yeah.
it's even more giant, and even more people listen to it. Like what the whole thing, like with J.K. Rowling, and
Yeah.
like transphobia, like why would like what would her incentive be to keep going further and further and deeper and downward and spiral so much worse in this
Yeah.
direction? Like, if there wasn't Twitter, would she even think about it as much? Because it's not affecting her. Like the only thing that is affecting her is replies to her tweets.
Mm.
Like that's not even real. That's not even how people actually are. It's just how Twitter makes everything.
Yeah.
But
No, you're right.
yeah, get rid of it. But now, so like now Elon Musk is gonna have it.
Is he after all?
and-
I thought he dipped or something.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I saw a video. Seemed like he will, but
Okay.
like, but none of the people who, most of the people who dislike Elon Musk are gonna leave, though. That's like I think the tell that it's not really such a place to fight for your rights. It's just an addiction. It's like a fucked up addicting.
Wait, what did you say? They are gonna leave or they're not?
They're not gonna leave.
No, right. Yeah, I doubt it too.
Anyone who is like verified or has more than like a handful of followers, anyone who feels like this is a platform for them, they're gonna stay. And it's
Yeah, because it's also like their echo chamber. Like they get confirmation that their beliefs are right or correct, or that's an addictive thing.
But how can you so consistently like engage in the Twitter like thing saying you're standing up for your beliefs and constantly dunk on like your enemies
Yeah.
who are doing well on Twitter or maybe even own Twitter, and then like still support the platform? Because like the verified users, there's a reason they give them the check mark. It benefits the platform to try to show that, hey, credible, like people who are interesting to you, that wrote your favorite book, that
Right.
made your favorite album, they are here.
Yeah.
If the verified people leave, the platform is like doesn't work. No one wants to
Yeah.
just. It's not
Yeah, I
like you
can see
follow
that.
your friends and family anymore. You follow
You follow
voice-
big names. Yeah, you follow
big names,
icons
yeah.
or whatever.
So those people should leave.
Yeah.
Like everybody who's pissed about Elon Musk owning Twitter should get off Twitter. I don't go there except for dog pictures. Don't go there.
Of course you do.
But it's hard to leave. It's really hard to leave, and I think it's just because that
Yeah, I've
it owns
made an
our
effort
soul.
to log off there and only go on when I need to post something, like when I need to announce a song challenge or whatever. But I do notice like every time I log in, I'm like, I stay there for a while. Like it's like all those
Kinda
social media,
holds
like
you.
it grabs you and suddenly you're just kind of doom scrolling through the terrible things people say again, and you're like, oh fuck.
It takes the sweetest people and makes them edgelords. Like
Yeah.
even if I agree with what you're being edgy about, it's like Angel Fire Tools Angel
Yep.
pointed this out about herself. She's like, in person, I'm like really just like soft and sweet. But on Twitter, I'm always being like, fuck this and fuck that. And it's like, yeah, that's what it does.
It just doesn't make anyone look good, honestly. Like everyone that I've followed for a while, there's just always a point at which they say something where I'm like, fuck, I wish you hadn't said that. Like I'm just
Can you imagine a good tweet? Like what? Like let's quickly think. Can we think of a good thing to tweet? Like what would
yes,
you tweet? So, what's that?
the song challenge.
Yeah, you tweet that it's happening. That's
That's
really why we stay.
that's a really
isn't it?
good tweet.
Yeah. Oh, Elliot's here.
Hey,
What
Elliot.
up? We're talking about
Like the button down. Look, you're
Twitter.
supposed to be negative. We're talking about Twitter. You're supposed to say
Yeah.
that it's shit.
Yeah. What would be, Elliot, if we're trying to think, what's a good tweet? Is there a good tweet?
Is Elliot
Can
even
anyone
on
think
Twitter?
of a good tweet in the chat? I don't know.
I'm not sure if Elliot is on Twitter.
What would we tweet? I feel like when you tweet, it's got to be something like,
I have never done a good tweet. I always afterwards.
I don't think I've ever.
I always
I've
feel
never
like
had a good tweet.
or make a joke and it's like it falls flat because the tone is lost in the small character count and people don't know that you're sarcastic or something and it's like I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't. Me and Twitter, we don't get
I think my tweets are the worst stuff I've put out.
it.
It's my worst like content.
Well, at least it's not like a record or something you did. You feel it's your Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, but my albums last about as long as a tweet. Well,
No, they
not
don't.
really, but
No, they don't.
that's kind of how it feels sometimes. See, like my videos feel that way, but like, yeah. Anyway, that's the mystery, right? Dante made this very mysterious track
Ah, yes.
about
yes.
are they bots?
That's
Well, that's what it's about.
what
to
we were
me.
talking
Is
about.
it- Are there bots?
Tweeting seems best when
Yeah.
sarcastic. Yeah, but no one. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of lost the sarcasm. People take it seriously, and then I'm always like, oh fuck.
I mean I do sarcasm on Instagram, and believe me, people think I'm serious. Like it
Right.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's Instagram, a whole other platform. My God.
It's almost as if sarcasm is hard to read on the internet.
Yeah, but you know something, I still think it's good to try.
Mm.
Like it's unfortunate how much language barriers are an issue there, because like that's not really fair, you know.
Well, Twitch solved
But,
it nicely with the kappa emote. You put a kappa after it, and then people know that it's sarcastic. But I mean, it's also a bit cringy to have to.
that's what no
put a-
cap comes from.
Maybe. I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Like I'm serious. I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have a post where I
tweet.
complain that more people, it's on Instagram. I complain that more people liked my picture of a banana with hair on it than a picture of my dog. And that's like, and I call them fuckers. I call everyone fuckers.
Yeah,
and
it was like obviously a joke. I thought it was very
but,
funny,
like,
actually.
some people are like, you're like degrading your audience, calling them that, you know.
Yeah, but it's something you would never say. Like,
That's that's why I think it's worth it to because to the people who do know you, it's a deeper form of communication when you're talking to them.
Mm.
Other people like accidentally chaotically find you talking, but like you are talking to the people who like know you, and you didn't ask all these people who don't know you to follow you.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's why I think sarcasm still has its place. Because to the people like you who know me,
It sure is worth
makes you
trying.
chuckle.
Yep.
It
Yep,
makes you
it made me
chuckle.
laugh.
It's good to chuckle. Why not? We can do
Always
it. We
degrade
can
your
chuckle.
audience. This is the way to go.
Yeah. There we go.
All right, which fucker is next? Sumika has a track called "You Are Now Logged In." .wav.
All right.
Oh yeah, beavers. Beavers.
It's gonna be Mams with the beaver.
It's gonna be Mams after all. Oh fuck. All right. Where's the vocals? Where's the vocals? That was cool. Very Tangerine Dream, I feel.
So
Synth
awesome.
heavy
So cinematic.
soundscapey thing.
Such a cool sequence
Yeah,
of
that was cool.
like, oh man, I love that. That was great. The vibe was so good.
Mm.
I just feel like that's a track you put on kind of loud.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah.
kind of track where it would be
That'd
cool.
be like overwhelmingly loud. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it'd be cool in a venue.
Exactly. Like in the space itself, like you can hear it. Like you
If
can
I were
feel the
imagining-
reverberation kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, like there's that had a very like translate to live really well kind of feel. It felt like you could have a sick like post rock band or something do that. And I was just thinking about like a Sumika set where it starts out with like everyone's shuffling in and getting in, and there's like a low rumble or something, and then like the lights go down, and then you start that track, and that's like the intro music, and then when it's over, you get like a Sumika track with the vocals, like normal, like not normal, but great, like usual. But it's such an excellent piece of the Sumika puzzle where it's like expands the cinematic universe of what Sumika means when you see the name. So I think if you were to further pursue ambient, like epic post rock-ish buildy music, I think that would maybe do it a few more times just to see what happens, because that was such a little like there's definitely sparks there.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
great. It's not like, oh, this seems like it could be good someday. No, it was really good.
Yeah.
To me.
Again, in an album context, it would work too, like as an opener or in between, like you said, other tracks that are more the other style that she usually does with more vocals up front and all that kind of thing.
And a bit more like dry elements too. Like
Yeah.
normally she has like some more punching through.
Yeah.
Like this one, I think the synths were pretty up front, which really worked.
Yeah.
Really worked.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wonder, Sumika, if your kick drum was like 100% going through the reverb, or if you had like some dry kick drum separate, because the only thing I can think of as like a suggestion is that like maybe, and it might because the low end didn't sound weird, it just like you can get like that deeper low end sometimes if you just leave the kick dry, or double the kick with like a subharmonic frequency or something, like a sine wave that's low.
Yeah.
But I just think like maybe there's some space to explore with the low end impact, although
It's a good point.
pretty sure it was
I would have gone for vocals with lyrics about beavers, but I guess your suggestion works too.
Mams has got it.
Mams
I'm sure
might
Mams'
we
first
still have
line,
hope. We still have hope. Yes.
logged in like a beaver.
Logged in like a beaver.
Logged in like beavers do.
What I can say though, Sumika said she doesn't have. We were talking about in the Discord about the community giving like workshops to each other. Like every month, someone we've done it a couple times. Like Basil did a lyric writing workshop. Mams did a workshop on Northern Indian classical music. And I thought it'd be cool if we do that again. And Sumika said, I have nothing to teach, but like, look at all these cool things you do. There's so many cool things you do, and you don't have to go into it with a mindset of like teaching, but there's definitely things you can show and kind of like, just kind of give people an insight in your process kind of thing.
You could do like some production tricks, things that you found that you liked.
Yeah. I mean,
also
if
you
you
could-
feel like it, but I think there's a lot of things that you clearly do know how to do. Is just my point.
I think of you as a producer.
Right. Yeah.
You've always been very creative with not just the singing, but the track, the whole track. And
Mm.
like if you could produce tracks for other people to sing on too, is what I'm kind of getting at. It's like your vocals are awesome, everyone knows that, but you're a producer, and so you could talk about production.
Mm.
Just I think there's a bit of a tendency, I think, for people who sing to sometimes not appreciate that they are good at the other stuff too.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the time we talk about Sumika's singing,
this is
but
true.
there's the whole thing.
Little Jimmy the Great with a track called "You Are Now Logged In."
Huh?
Track number 9. I know it's shocking.
I think that at least one of them would have been something else. It's
I
like,
mean, we have one. The Res Band was
Wait.
something else technically.
oh really?
Yeah, it was Heard It All Before, and then in brackets, You Are Now Logged In.
oh, I see. Fools.
Oh, the track is no longer available. Or my internet is breaking down, but
Or maybe you're no longer logged in.
I am no longer logged in. I am now. There we go. All right. Nice. Very tasty lines in there.
Yeah,
Good
super
tone,
cool
too.
guitar tone. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
very nice. Yeah, I like the little like oops notes. Like I know you're saying you're improv,
Mhm.
you didn't like it, but like I could see why maybe from your perspective you feel like that, but I really thought it was a nice balance between like moments of like humble like do and gorgeous like whoa.
Mhm.
And there's like a character to that. Usually when we listen to instruments, we don't appreciate the imperfections as much as we do when we hear voices. Like when you
Right.
hear an old man singing, like, I gotta go. Like you might actually really feel emotionally like pulled and ripped to shreds by like the struggle in there and like the texture. And that's true with instrumentals as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just very hard to do it on purpose. It's something
It's
that's
also true.
and therefore hard to appreciate in yourself. But you've got a really nice, like you got a nice thing going there. Where I like the way you recover from mistakes are like
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
even mistakes, they're surprises. I hear you like working with your surprises really nice.
He knew what to do to get out of it
Yes,
or to resolve
that's
it.
a good point.
Resolve it back down. Yeah. I felt like overall
We
there
like
was
to
just a
hear
very
that.
like joyful vibe to the improvisation. Like it sounds like you have a lot of fun improvising, and that at least to me really came across, and I thought that was really nice because you can be really good and like you hit all the cool notes and whatever, but if it doesn't sound like you're having fun or it doesn't sound like you're bringing something across, then like what's the value in that, you know?
Yep.
So
It's hard to achieve that, and when you do, it's really special.
yeah, exactly.
I think if you had like lyrics at the beginning and at the end, like a head to a
Mm.
jazz standard, that'd be cool. Cause then what we could do is you could be like, I woke up and I stubbed my toe. Now my nail is purple. I gotta go. Put on my coat. Damn. Also, it's fall. It's darker now. In the morning, I don't want to get up. I'm cold. And my
Hey.
toe goes out. And then you solo. And you just like get like some regular ass lyrics and a regular vibe and sing in a very normal way and then play the way you play. And you got emotional perfect emotional execution.
Hell
of
yeah.
emotion.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
For our next track, I could also try something with two very distinct sections, like contrasting things. See how you would improvise over that. Like if you have something that's in one particular vibe, but then it flips to something else, how would you approach an idea like that?
It's a cool, that's a cool prompt.
All stuff to try out and have fun with. I think it was actually Little Jimmy's first submission also. So welcome.
Oh,
That was very cool.
congrats.
That was awesome. Well
Come
done.
on back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in that case, I want to also suggest something else to try because a lot of these song challenges, we try to like help people think of things to do that they don't normally do and then grow as a result.
Mhm.
I would be interested in hearing what would happen if you played a guitar solo and then learned to sing part of it, and you sing doubling your guitar solo, you sing it, and then you end the guitar solo, and then you sing that melody again, and that's actually the hook. So it starts out seeming like it came from an improv, but then you codify it into a tune.
That's
It's
cool.
just a
Yeah.
thought. And if you don't want it,
Yeah.
then you should. Don't do it.
This is also true. Well done, Jimmy. Quitchman. We have Quitchman, who is recovering from eye surgery. I hope you're doing well, Quitchman. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying listening, at least.
Always grateful when our members of our community here can afford the surgeries they need.
Yes, very much. It's called "Thank You for Logging In."
All right.
Little
nice.
twist there.
Cheating.
Access denied. request granted.
Whoa. Holy shit. That's the most produced I've ever heard Quitchman. I think Ben is still behind.
That's true. Yo,
What
that was so
happened?
cool.
Holy shit.
That was so cool.
This is like, yeah, this is a level up. Exactly. I have not heard such production from Quitch before. That is crazy.
It's so catchy too,
Yeah.
and heavy, and yeah. The timbres were so nice.
It was
What a
really
sound
good.
sandwich.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. Dang.
I really wonder about the process. I know you can't look at your screen and all that, but once you've recovered, I have questions. This was really
Yeah.
fun, really good.
It felt like the perfect timbre choices for like making it big and bright and punchy and
It all just
fun
really
and
gelled well together.
yeah, so heavy too.
Yeah. Love that breakdown at the end. That was so cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The tuplets, I
really
think.
nice dynamics. Good patient intro.
For sure. Hyper glow up.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
What if this production combined with your usual metal style, which it was already in there a little bit, but what if you play one of your solos? Because you're also really good guitarist.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this was a very nice like sometimes when I make an album, I make a track first and then I'm like, "Oh, this could be an album."
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'd feel about that one personally. I'd be like,
Yep.
there's a world here.
Yep. Yeah. I
But
definitely want
albums
to.
are
I want to hear more of this because this
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah. Albums are hard. I like sometimes it's good to aim for a single, then be like, could I do an EP from this? Yeah. And then you go for the EP and then you're like, could I do an album from this? And then you're like,
Mm.
all right, maybe I can't. Because
Yeah.
these days I feel like I think I've met enough people who have like psychologically damaging experiences from making albums where I'm like,
Mm.
the reason it was damaging was because they put so much time into a thing that by the time they finished making it, they didn't connect to it anymore.
Yeah, they
and
started
then put
hating
it
it.
out, and
Yeah.
like that sucks. So
Yeah.
it, full albums are like some people are like made to tell the story that way, or like are comfortable telling the story that way, and other people are less comfortable. And anyone could be any way. It depends
Right.
on what's going on. But yeah, it's nice to make EPs. I wish that like streaming sites didn't separate EPs and albums. I like that they separate singles because that makes sense. Like the singles are here.
Like you'd want
but like
EPs to be on the page of albums.
yeah, because you can miss some really good stuff if you miss people's EPs.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. Experienced
That's
that with my
great.
last album. I think it's pretty common in general to like after you're done with a project, you're just kind of burnt out about it. But then of course, like you have to promote it, and that can be a very tricky thing to do.
Yep. I found there is like a rich kid solution to this, which is you hire someone to mix your album.
Right.
If you do everything else yourself, record every single note yourself, you can not. I don't think you can mix it and love it at the end. But if you get it that far and someone else mixes it, then you'll be like pumped because you'll actually get that chance to hear the mix for the first
Yeah,
time.
you'll hear it fresh.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Yeah. I think also that one of the big bummers about making your first album is you think it's going to be important, it's going to mean something, and maybe something will happen, and it's almost never what happens. Like, it does
Yep.
happen, it does,
It
but like
happens,
it's
yeah.
so rare.
People
It's
get
so rare.
lucky.
It is like the lottery kind of, because
Yeah.
it is luck, because there are like so many people whose like third album gets more attention, and then people notice their older albums, and then they're like, whoa, this one was great. It's not like, it doesn't even have, it's not even like necessarily a measure of the quality, but I'll say that making your first album, you're going to be slower at everything than making your fifth album.
Yeah.
And
Of
like
course.
when you make your first album, you're going to take way too long on like vocal takes and everything. You're not going to have like the confidence to just throw shit against the wall. But like when you make your fifth or 12th album or whatever,
It's more freeing. Like
eventually,
and you also kind of know what
yeah,
already, for most things, what's gonna work and what isn't. And so it's easier to like throw new stuff at the things that you already know work, instead of everything kind of being like an experiment in a way.
exactly. Like if you have to reinvent the wheel or discover the wheel for every single step,
Yeah.
by the end of it, you are dead.
Oh yeah.
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 That's why I really
That's definitely
enjoy
how I
making.
remember my first EP.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hell, yeah, same. Definitely. And it's so precious about it too. It's like, you have to hear this. You have to hear this. Like the
Mm.
world has to hear this. People have to hear this.
Yep.
And it's like, nah, that's not.
People did not have to hear it.
Yeah, they don't have to. Yeah. Like, yeah, there's all kinds of hang-ups people have with ambition. Like, it's cool to want to like change the world or want people to hear your music and like to mean a lot to people, make your music mean a lot to people. But like making your first album is not like like getting funding for a startup
Mm.
or something. Making your first album is like going to class. It's like going to album class, and you learn a lot about making an album, and then you make it. But like I think a lot of people think of making their first album like making a business or something, where it's like it's
Yeah.
this or I'm dead. You know, it's like this. If this doesn't break through in some way, I'm fucked. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a real bummer.
I think that's
when
also
you think of
because
it that
like
way.
the artists we do see, like that's usually like a debut album or something, or at least that's the one we end up seeing, because the
Mhm.
ones that didn't make it, they're just not showing those anymore. They're putting them in the back.
A lot of people's debut album is actually their like 10th album,
Mm.
but they use a different name. Like
That too. Yep.
Moses Sumney, for instance, he started his solo career with his, debut album. Like that, it's true. But he had been working, or no, maybe he's the exception. Yeah, I think actually his story is amazing. But like,
The exception
okay,
to the rule.
yeah, but like, how about this? Like, well, now I can't think of anything. But a lot of people, if you look at their Wikipedia, they were in like 3 bands before they started
Yeah.
their solo career, like their big band or whatever. And so like, yeah, like Sufjan Stevens toured a lot with other bands, like
Mm.
as the drummer and then as the background singer. And then he came out with some stuff that was like, some people heard it, but then Illinois came out and then he got big, and that was in 2005, and that was his like 3rd release or something.
Yeah.
And
But also,
it
like a
was-
lot of these people are making their records with other people. Like they have the funds to like let someone mix their record and all that. Like for a lot of
Yeah.
people, especially people that are watching now, probably they don't have the resources to do that kind of thing. Like they do it all themselves. And those are all like different hats we have to wear and different skills we have to grow. And we can't do that on a single record, grow them all at the same time and excel at every hat.
Yeah, if I were to like be everybody's album teacher, let's put forward a fake question from the chat. Everyone's wants to know, how do you get good at making albums? I would say
Do it a lot.
yeah, definitely that. I would say make your first album completely on your own, even try the mixing with this one caveat, which is you get someone to professionally mix one of the tracks. So
Okay.
you hear a really good mix of one of your tracks, because the thing is, if you go compare your mixes, so okay, hold on, back up a step. So you get their one track mixed really well,
Mm.
and then you try to match that mix, and you learn a lot about like
Yeah.
trial and error, and you learn a lot, and it's a struggle, and you grow to hate the songs, and you try to match that mix, and you never quite get there. But then one song, actually, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
This is so much more effective for learning to mix and make albums than if you mix everything yourself and use references from outside of your album. For instance,
I was talking with a student about this actually the other day.
if you try to make like if you're like, I want to make like I want to do a production like Muse, and then you go and compare your production to Muse, they've got different guitar tones, they've got different drummer, they got different everything, and so now you're like trying to reference your track against their actual timbres, and so yeah, of course your low end's not going to feel like theirs, and your stuff's not going to
Sure.
feel like
Yeah.
theirs. But if you compare it to one of your own tracks that's just been mixed really well by someone who did a great job,
That's true.
then you can really
Yeah.
start feel.
I still think there's merit to doing that kind of comparison though, because I think it's something we often forget, especially when we're learning how to mix. It's like when we're learning guitar, we're always comparing to the original recording. We're listening to the track we want to learn, and that's how we learn essentially. Like, oh, I want to learn Master of Puppets. Well, I'm going to listen to Master of Puppets and try to copy it to a T, essentially.
Yeah.
When we're mixing, oftentimes we're like, okay, so here's how mixing works. We have all these volume sliders and panning knobs and all that. Cool. Let me just kind of do all of that in a way that sounds reasonable. But we don't listen to reference tracks in a way like, how do my favorite bands actually mix their records? Like, maybe you have a tendency to put your rhythm guitar pretty loud, and you figure out that on Master of Puppets, it's actually not that loud. It has
Not
a
as loud
very
as you
low
thought.
supportive volume, and
Yeah.
that makes a difference, kind of thing. So
That's so educational, and like, yeah, and like that is absolutely crucial to learning. And you should do like practice tracks where you try to
yeah,
match certain aspects. Like, I'll try to get the kick to sound like
if
this.
you can get stems to a song, like
Oh yeah,
that's
that's
really
good
good.
practice.
Yeah.
The issue there, though, I think, is it's actually very advanced to use a reference without facing the psychological illusions that occur. Like if you listen to your song for 20 minutes, you're not hearing it right anymore.
No.
And so what I think people, the like inexperienced mixers and experienced mixers, but especially new mixers, will mix for too long, or will loop one section for too long, or focus too acutely on one aspect like the bass or
Yeah.
something. And they miss the big picture. And so when you're referencing, it's very hard to like just like listen to Beyonce's kick drum and really understand why the track feels the way it feels,
Right.
and why yours might feel different. And like, it's just, there's so much psychology to mixing that you only learn the hard way, I think, just from trial and error.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it's like, it shouldn't cost more than $200 to get a really good mixing person to mix one of your tracks.
Mm.
And I think it's a worthy investment for your first album to learn mixing. And you reference those tracks, and most people will probably be willing to give you some tips on how they did what they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like, I feel like that will help you at least. But yeah, you have to do referencing to other people's stuff like in your life. Like, that's definitely got to be one of the way. But yeah, like my how to get good at mixing albums. First album, do it that way.
Yeah.
Second
it's
album,
a really good suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like maybe you do that for your second album too. But the second album, you focus a bit more on using fewer instruments. So like, first is like throw shit at the wall, and you figure out like, oh, there's a whole bunch. How do I try this and this and this, and you layer and you make too many things. Second
Yeah.
album, try to get more sparse with your arrangements. That'll make your mixes better. Uh, and then third album you can do
Yeah, that matters so
yourself.
much. Like the arrangement itself, like
Mhm.
that's really big.
And then eventually, maybe you can hire someone to mix your album after you're really good at mixing. Because
Yeah.
the thing is,
Then it's
you
also
really
easier to
shouldn't
communicate
do
your
it.
ideas. Like that's so beneficial to just wearing the hats all at least once. So you at least know a little bit of like what goes into that kind of hat. What do you have to do when you're doing that kind of work? And then it's way easier to communicate with the person that's going to do it for you to be like, "Hey, I kind of want this kind of vibe. Could you pay attention to this thing?"
That's right. That's right. There's a skill set to communicating with a mixing person that
Yeah.
relies on you knowing about mixing.
At least a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lestis is a good example of someone who's had that approximate journey, and we all have heard Lestis grow so much. So
Let's listen to a trio of Emma, Scully, and Witchy.
Rooms like thunder, we pillage and raid. Murder and plunder, nobody escapes. The serpent of battle will swallow us whole. Metal to metal, the lies we stole. Rip and tear, guts and blood, smash and smear. Smoke and soot, bones and teeth. Scream and fight, rage and seethe, slash and smite. Shoulder to shoulder, together we stand. Foes shall smolder, let's conquer the land. Wolves and beasts run under the moon. Our blades shall feast on enemies soon. Rip and tear, guts and blood, smash and smear. Smoke and soot, bones and teeth. Scream and fight, rage and seethe, slash and smite. Countless screams echo in the night. Whoever despairs for you to decide. Axes are swinging, spattering skulls. Bowstrings are singing.
Server connection lost. Attempting to reconnect. Error. Game files not found. Downloading. Reconnecting.
We have awakened, the sun shines behind. A dragon's been slain, but no treasure to find. The gods have decided our time here and soon. Expect no forgiveness, for our souls are doomed.
All right. Very cool gang vocals in this. That was nice.
yeah, Yeah. Gang vocals are cool. Yeah, I was just finishing it, but yeah,
Yep.
um who's who's singing the clean vocals? Ah, na, 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 na,
That would be
na, na.
Emma. I
Nice.
think Witchy and Scully are doing some of the backing vocals, but
Cool,
the lead is
cool.
Emma.
Yeah, so that like combo of vocals to metal was really cool.
Yeah. Mm.
Um
Felt a
I
bit like
have
more classic metal, like older metal bands.
yeah, like Iron Maiden-ish
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
But I feel like the vocal performance was like different than it had just like a more I don't know, slightly more modern, like almost indie feel.
Mm.
But what I was thinking, I have a suggestion which is to put even more high end in the vocals. So like you might want to EQ like the from 5K and up, like the really high end. Like
Mm.
just pump that up so there's like a more crisp, because I feel like it was getting masked a bit by the cymbals in the chorus and the heavy stuff.
Right.
Um and so and like you can do that with a distortion. You can use distortion to make things higher and crispy too.
Yeah. Because
So
it
that might
basically
be a cool
adds like
thing to
upper
mess with.
harmonics to the
Yeah, and
signal.
it definitely gets rid of some of the low end a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So you can mess with that. And then like it's interesting when you think about mixing vocals with stuff like this to think about the vocal to cymbal relationship. So it's not just like the vocals how they are compared to the track. It's like
Mm.
what's their relationship with the cymbals? Like
Yeah, because that's also very high frequency
yeah,
content. Yeah.
they're like right there together, and so that's just something with the mixing. But
Yep.
the drums are really cool. The riffs are really great. Um,
Just a
oh
great
yeah,
vibe in
maybe some
general. Like it really captured that epic, like the epic side of metal, like the more fantasy.
yeah dragons and
Yeah.
adventure.
Yep.
You could do a bit of chorus too, maybe
Yeah.
on some of the vocals.
Yeah, I was wondering
Um,
if the solo guitar could have been processed a bit more. Maybe not necessarily put a distortion on it or more distortion, but maybe just saturate it a bit more, make it come forward a bit. Um,
it was very well played, very cool.
yeah, it was a cool solo.
I'm thinking, I'm just thinking of like I just want to like say some vocal production techniques for the mixing that you might not have tried before.
Mhm.
One of them is so there's this plugin called Microshift that Sound Toys
Wait.
makes.
I'll give you a stage. I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
Okay, sounds good. Have a good water break.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. So there's a plugin called Microshift by Sound Toys. And when you put it on something, it makes it sound really wide and also a little chorusy. And it's a really great effect to put on a vocal. It creates that wide, big vocal that we're often used to hearing, especially in like crowd vocal sections. And the way that you can make that sound without getting the plugin, even the plugin's awesome, but like there's a way to do it. You take the main vocal and you duplicate it. So you have vocal 1 and vocal 2, but they're exactly the same. And you pan one all the way left and pan one all the way right. Now, if you do that and they're exactly the same, you won't hear them panned far. It'll actually sound like they're still right in the middle because you'll have an equal amount of the same thing in each side, which makes it sound in the middle. So then what you want to do to make it actually sound wide is you displace timing wise. You just move the left one or the right one, but you move one of them ahead or later just by a couple milliseconds. So they're just not exactly at the same time. And then you actually detune slightly by a few cents one of them. And then you get this really wide sounding vocal. Yeah. And so you can get this chorusy sound that's the left and the right. And something I like to do is when I'm making like a group vocal section, I like to have one take on the left and then a different take on the right, and then uh, take the center vocal and duplicate it left, duplicate it right, and move one a little and then detune a little. And so then you have actually 3 takes. One's on the left, one's on the right, and then the middle take is turned into those 2 offset tracks. So everything is on the left and the right. Everything's far panned, but you get this nice, like, lush, thick, big group vocal kind of vibe. Yeah. It's a useful production technique. It's easy to execute. You can do it with a delay. Slightly less easy to explain because you have to know about sending things to delay and all that. But well done. It's always nice to hear your collabs, and it was a lot of fun, and it's epic. So, who here is excited for the Christmas, spooky Christmas, Halloween, spooky Christmas?
Spooky Christmas.
Welcome back. It's Halloween is coming, and that's spooky Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Let's see, we're just a few days away from me having to pay my mortgage again.
Uh-oh.
They won't just give me a break.
I suppose that is pretty spooky.
Yeah, well, luckily it's not that spooky. It would suck if it really was spooky.
Oh yeah. Did it get some
yeah,
cool vocal tips?
Tila Head said, I've tried this, never thought of the detune bit though. Yeah, it helps. The detune makes a difference too. Just a little detune.
For widening or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's all I had to say.
All right. Well then, let us speak no longer and let's listen to Stealth Mouse with the song You Are Now Logged In.
Everyone is waiting for you. You need not bring your things. You are now logged in. Everything known or unknown will become a part of you. You are now logged in. Have faith, for you will not be lost amongst the clouds and stars.
So pretty.
Yeah.
So relaxing.
Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah. Also had a bit of a Tangerine Dream vibe.
I should check out this Tangerine Dream thing.
You
'cause
should. It's really
I've
good.
liked both of those.
It's very psychedelic, synthy music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds
I think
tasty.
you'll dig it.
Yeah,
Um,
that was so well paced.
Mhm.
Really just took me along for a
Sure.
good experience.
Yeah. Slow build up, and it really felt like it was building towards something there.
Yeah.
Journey.
It's a pleasant catharsis
Mm-hmm.
rather than a jarring one.
Also, really liked the use of the samples, which felt also retro kind of thing. It just seemed right for the piece to kind of have like a narrator accompany like the synth journey that it was.
Yeah. It was super cool to like have that moment of like zooming in
Mm.
on something really specific. It's nice like internet music too.
Yeah,
It's like
you're that would be cool waiting music for while you're logging in. Just have
Oh,
like a
yeah.
synth soundscape like that.
That's like the
It's
dream of
relaxing
the internet,
into the internet
yeah.
as we're being uploaded.
It's just you gotta like think about how like epic and almost utopic the internet's potential was slash maybe still is,
Yeah,
and that's the soundtrack for it. I think a lot of people wanted to live in that world.
I want to hear this when my consciousness gets uploaded. That'd be
That'll
good.
the day.
This kind of soundscapes. Yeah.
As soon as that happens, let me know. I'll get in it.
Stealth Mouse can do the soundtrack for that system. That would be cool.
I love my doggy so much.
As you should.
Sometimes I love him so much that it makes me emotional. I just think,
Aw.
how you get so cute.
We can't see the doggo, Ben. What is this? You can't dog bait us. Aw. Just chilling.
Yeah, he just appeared down to see
Yeah.
if I was ready to say hi. I give him a little pet. He just relaxes. He's a good guy.
That's funny because that's literally the concept of that song, Stealth Mouse. See, I knew it. I knew it. I just felt it. I felt it in my
Wow.
bones.
Like the sound of while you're logging in.
Of having your consciousness uploaded, I guess.
Oh, really?
I assume
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
he means. Yeah.
Good job. That
Hey.
is a nice sound for that.
Yeah, I'm curious if you put this into like that'd be interesting concept for an album too. Like if you make this the intro of your consciousness being uploaded, and then the next pieces on the album like could be a continuation of that story, like what it's like to be uploaded, or what do you experience? What kind of journeys do you undergo?
What's your favorite part?
Yeah.
What's shopping like?
What are the
What's the
pizza
economy?
flavors?
Dang, it'd be cool to eat pizza. Oh, I just got hungry. How dare you?
I probably shouldn't have said it because now I'm also getting hungry.
You mentioned pizza on stream?
Unforgivable. Let us move on so that we can eat pizza. We have our final track for today by none other than Reno Mams with a track called You Are Now Logged In.
Hell yeah.
Y'all ever heard of the game so much? Yeah, I streamed it at some point. It was fun. It was a good game. Nice little philosophical twist there. It's good. Reno Mams. Beavers?
locked into land of the wise. Pine trees and marigold, steep roads and slippery slopes, into ravines the rivers fold, dim lights and glimmering hopes. Locked in atop the mountains, locked into gardens of deep, locked into the monsoon rains, locked into mirth and glee. Steamed food and deli paste, clear soup and momo shines white, tingles my buds of taste. Home is an easy sight. Wow.
That was really nice.
So beautiful. So relaxing and so sweet.
Yeah. Nice end to the track list too. Like more
Yeah.
of a being logged into reality, your direct environment, nature, and whatever else it seemed to be about.
So that's like a good example of what we were talking about earlier with like how your first album like might be sick, but people won't necessarily notice. Like it's not like a given because
Mm.
like that's just one of Mams's a million songs on one song challenge.
Yeah.
But that song would be incredible in so like it's such an incredible song. It could be like a little anthem for our time, or like it could be
Yeah.
it could be like in a soundtrack, or it could be um like that song, it could be like one of those cultural deep deep part of our culture, like a Beatles song or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's good enough that it just was here, and that it's good enough that anyone hears it because it's a
Yeah.
real gift. But it's just amazing how like songs like those, they they come out of you, and you're just like, that's real. Like that's a side of Mams that feels so true.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, it feels very
beautiful.
authentic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mams regrounded us, says
Yeah.
Laserbolt. Like that. I really liked how you copied like the lead vocal melody into the guitar to kind of like play that back and forth. That was really, really nice, especially in that ambience that you created. Um, Also knowing the backstory a little bit, that you were in a situation where you basically only had your acoustic guitar, I think this was a really, really tasteful solution to make a song, um, still following the prompt even. Very, very Mams-like, I will say, to find a way. I feel like you always do and always surprises in some way. I can have only one suggestion though. And you know what it is. You know what we want, Mams. You know what we want. We
You're
need big,
so close.
big pop production. It needs to happen.
This is so close to that. This is so close.
It
'cause
actually
you
is.
got-
Yeah.
It's the hooky, poppy song, and you could just cover this song. Maybe that would be a cool thing. Is you cover this song, but just make it big and epic. But I don't know. That sucks because this song is so perfect. the
Yeah,
way
it is
Maybe,
so nice
but
as
yeah,
it is.
you're so close to doing that. But I'm really
No.
glad you did this.
Yeah,
And
I agree. Yeah.
you know, we're both just rooting for you to do the
Yeah. Because we know it's
weird-
going to push him. Yeah.
yeah, and we know
Yeah.
it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Thank you, Mams.
I
That
would
was really
like-
lovely. Yeah.
this was a really good batch. These songs, like,
Yep.
I feel like sometimes, you know, it's when you give a kind of like interpretive prompt, it's just, I think people like get to use all the muscles they've been building from the more like challenging prompts.
Yeah. I think we had a couple that were pretty tricky lately. So this was it's nice
Yeah.
to kind of have now one in which everyone could just kind of take all the stuff they've learned and put it into this.
Yeah. Y'all are really making music, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like practice. It sounds like music.
Recommend everyone listen to their first tracks, maybe first song challenge tracks or just first tracks in general, and see. Or we're approaching the end of the year. Like, we should probably think of a prompt for December that kind of plays on that, kind of a look back prompt. But just in general, yeah, I would urge you all to listen to where you were at the start of the year soon, and then reflect on what happened over the course of a year. Because I think you'll all see that a lot happened. I think a lot of you are really growing musically, and it's so cool to be a part of that.
This has been a time where every year is super memorable. Like, I so know the difference between 2020 and 2022, or like 2019 and 2020. You know, like I super know the difference between the years. And normally I think they kind of like 2014 versus 2015 versus 2016. What was I can't remember, but like these years are so distinct. 2022, probably the weirdest year of my life.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say for me too. It's pretty odd.
Yeah, it's a weird time, and it's good to have your recordings to look back on and just
For sure,
kind of ground things and be like, all right, this is where I am.
We're gonna have to do something with this for December for that
Yeah.
retrospective thing. We'll think of something. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for all your submissions. Always such a treat. Thank you, Ben, for co-hosting with me.
Always a joy.
Please go check Ben out on his YouTube channel, of course. I mean, y'all know Ben, but you should still go check him out, especially if you don't. Like, you're missing out.
Yeah, I'm gonna make things.
You make things. You make a lot of things.
Right. I've got finished 2 courses and 1 client video, and then I'm gonna put out my EP with a video for the whole EP, and then I'm gonna make a lot of YouTube videos next year.
This is good stuff. I look forward to that. Also, you can book a lesson with Ben. Did you know? BenLevinMusicSchool.com is a thing. You could book a lesson. I recommend it.
You could.
You could do that.
You shouldn't. You should book.
You should
with
do it.
Hugo. No, book with Hugo.
No.
Forget about
book
me.
with Ben.
No.
If you want to support the song challenge and my other content, once again, please go check out the Patreon. There's a lot of bonus content there, and it would really help us out to keep doing this. I'm also available for private music lessons, as Ben just hinted at, where I can teach you anything from guitar to songwriting, music production, improv, or help you with your YouTube video production, that kind of thing. Feel free to send me a message. We could talk about it. Links to socials, everything else in the description. BenLevinMusicSchool.com. Ben Levin on social media. I think that's about it. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Show some love in the chat for everyone. Have a party in the Discord. Go listen to everyone's tracks even more times. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye bye.
Good night, everyone.